Something just exploded here. There was a double explosion. Demir, look at that. It's just crazy. It hit the factory 3 times. Hey, are you coming here? Come on, hurry up and get over here as quickly as you possibly can. I really need you to bring the binoculars with you right away. There is something happening right in front of my eyes, and I need you to see it too. Please don't waste any time. Just get here fast and make sure you have the binoculars so you can see exactly what I'm seeing. It just hit, basically.
The Russian emergency services started wailing after those strikes. Naval drones broke into Putin's key port and destroyed a warship. It was caught on video. Our side's ruthless revenge. 3 missiles each at Russian thermal power plants. Blackouts are hitting Russian cities one after another. Voronezh, Belgorod, and Moscow is next. Disaster is at the Kremlin's doorstep. The propagandists have turned against Putin. They are blaming the dictator for the attacks on oil refineries. Solovyov is shouting the loudest, and the army is turning its guns. What everyone was talking about has begun. Watch until the end. Hello, this is Ukraine Today. I'm Victoria Panchenko, and here are the latest events. The situation in Russia is critical. The enemy's deep rear is turning into a real battlefield. Ukrainian naval drones swiftly broke into the port of Tuapse in the Krasnodar region and struck right at the heart of the enemy. At this very moment, there is panic among Russians, chaos in the government, and the Russian fleet is slowly sinking.
Locals report successful hits. It is likely that one of the ships was hit.
At the same time, the Rostov region is in an uproar. There were direct hits on the railway substation and the control center. Reuters, citing Russian Railways, reports that the company has extended restrictions on cargo transportation toward Tuapse until November 13th. Our side hit the jackpot.
Likovskaya was attacked for the first time on July 19th, and again on August 2nd. The strike on the station caused delays for 50 civilian trains. We're finishing the job.
Judging by the Ministry of Defense's report, Russia was in turmoil. A whole swarm seriously kept the Russians awake and brought the collapse of all the enemy's plans closer.
Another 71 Ukrainian unmanned aerial vehicles were destroyed and intercepted by air defense systems.
However, Russians are no strangers to this kind of action. The day before, Ukrainian forces attacked 3 major enemy targets at once. First up was the Voronezh CHP plant.
Right there, straight at... along the wires, apparently. Then there was a large and sudden flash over there. And when it happened, right where it is now, basically, the balcony cracked. I lived on the 14th floor. And at that moment, I thought to myself, is it a car honking or what?
3 missiles hit the CHP-1. One struck the outer wall of boiler house number 1, as seen in the photo. The second pierced the roof and destroyed the building's foundation. The third likely hit the turbine hall. This is being clarified using satellite images. And
here are the first shots after the massive destruction. Photos have leaked online showing what the Voronezh CHP looks like now. Ruins that, until recently, supplied heat and electricity to about 1,000 enterprises, including military ones. The roof
has been stripped off.
Russian Taganrog is also on the list of places where Ukrainian fury sweeps away everything in its path. Local residents are groaning.
There was a double explosion. Demir, look at this. It's just insane. Over there, on the territory of Tagaze. It's a disaster.
The whole city is engulfed in fire at the substation. Panic spreads on social media. No electricity or water, and it may last a long time.
BSAT-25 is a key step-down substation connecting the 110 kilovolt main lines to the city networks.
It seems Russians will have to get used to living without power and heat. Now, to Taganrog and Voronezh, Belgorod is being added as well.
is this crap?
Yeah, somewhere around here it needs to be shot down. Sergik, I'm recording this for my mom.
Ukrainians are advising Russians to stock up on generators since the Ukrainian armed forces are already turning off the lights even in Moscow itself. The heart of the Russian Federation has been struck. Our drones are on a direct course. Never before has there been such large-scale destruction on enemy territory. The panic in the Kremlin is obvious. This is a real disaster. Ukraine's response has reached a new level. The failure of Russian air defense is obvious. And this is just the beginning. Things will get even more serious. Don't miss it. You have to see this.
Ukrainian drones are striking the Russian energy system more frequently and on a larger scale. On the night of October 5th, Ukrainian UAVs attacked energy infrastructure in the Vladimir and Oriol regions. In Vladimir, the strike hit a 750 kilowatt substation in the suburbs. Local residents claim that the city was attacked by missiles, not UAVs.
Killed.
In Oriol, explosions thundered in the area of the local CHP plant, the largest source of electricity and heat in the region. The attack was most likely a missile strike, since in the video there are neither air defense sounds nor the buzzing of drones. Here it is.
That went off.
This is already the second attack on the Oriol CHP plant in the past week. On October 31st, it was hit by Neptune cruise missiles. At that time, the city was left without power. Also, on the last day of October, the Vladimir CHP plant was on fire as well.
Moreover, this substation supplies electricity to the central region, including Moscow, Vladimir, Nizhny Novgorod, and partially Ivanovo regions. In general, it also participates in the transmission of power, from the Kalinin nuclear power plant to the Kostroma GRES and other major energy sources.
The stable operation of the Vladimir substation is critically important for the reliability of the Russian power system balance. It holds special significance. Energy from the Kalinin nuclear power plant is supplied through it. This makes the substation one of the key facilities for the Moscow energy hub. The security service wants to cause a blackout in the Whitestone city by striking substations around Moscow.
In recent weeks, attacks on important energy nodes have been recorded. Arzamas 500 kilovolts on October 14th, Balashov 500 kilovolts on October 16th and 25th, Vladimir 750 kilovolts on October 17th and 31st and November 5th, Vishkaima 500 kilovolts on October 18th, Novobryansk 750 kilovolts on October 29th, Lipetsk 500 kilovolts on November 2nd, Frolov 500 kilovolts on November 3rd. According to industry analysts, the goal of the strikes is to deprive Moscow of the ability to receive maneuverable electricity from the Volga hydroelectric power stations.
Before these strikes on substations, the head of Unmanned Systems Forces, Robert Brody, warned that Muscovites should start preparing for blackouts.
A blackout is nothing to be afraid of. The SPS birds, together with other components of Ukraine's deep strike capabilities, promise you a rapid, albeit forced, adaptation. But you'll manage. Matches, flashlights, candles. By the way, take the opportunity to use your favorite battery-powered garlands too. We won't be informing you about every 750 kilowatt, 500 kilowatt, and so on installation damaged by the birds. Just go by the principle: light, warmth, boom, darkness, cold. And your open source intelligence in public channels is still working flawlessly, as long as there's internet. The strikes were announced and the strikes happened. And the enemy, even knowing which infrastructure would be targeted, was unable to organize an effective defense. There were announcements that blackouts were coming for them, and only after that did the drones take off. And only after that did
the drones begin to take off, heading towards the gas distribution stations. After that, the capital city of the Russian Federation, Moscow, will be left not only without electricity and light, but also without any source of heat.
Every voice matters. Join our community, support independent journalism and help us bring you the truth from Ukraine. Become a member of Ukraine Today. Join us now.
Right now, explosions are still going off at Russian oil refineries, so it's the perfect time to buy yourself some binoculars to get a better view of Russia's greatness falling apart. We're live from Saratov. It hit the plant 3 times. Hey, are you coming here? Come on, get over here faster. Bring binoculars with you. It's even melting the propagandists now. Even Solovyov couldn't take it anymore. He's outraged across the whole country that Russia isn't responding in any way to the destruction of their oil refineries.
Well, just the debris, as they now say, from downed drones is causing so much damage that you have to wonder, is anyone in our country going to be held responsible for this?
Meanwhile, another problem is brewing in Russia. Putin's elite is returning from the front lines of the so-called special military operation and trying to impose their own rules. But the dictator clearly doesn't like this. An urgent order has been given to detain contract soldiers. Videos from the heart of Russia show how Putin is starting to purge his inner circle. Kremlin mouthpieces are losing control. Their channels are being blocked, and the topic of the Russian army has become Moscow is nervous, and with good reason. Russians are no longer staying silent. They're taking to the streets in protest, and discontent is growing by the day. Could a coup be next? We'll find out very soon.
What could be more terrifying for Russians than sending their own son or husband to the front in Ukraine? That's right, if he actually comes back from there, honestly. In
St. Petersburg, a man who returned from the war is terrorizing his apartment building, threatening his neighbors, and throwing things from his balcony. Some kind of imitation grenades.
Very few people want to live on the same street or worse, in the same building as these so-called heroes of the special military operation. As a rule, these newly discharged soldiers were already notorious outcasts even before the war. And after returning from the front, they completely let themselves go. Theft, murdering their own drinking buddies, rape and robbery have become commonplace for Russian special military operation veterans. Just everyday life back in civilian society.
And
for these Russian ex-convicts, drug addicts and psychopaths returning from the war, a different kind of crowbar, one that's very real, will become their undoing. It's hard to believe, but Russian propagandists are increasingly openly talking about wiping out their own soldiers. Z-bloggers are convinced that there is no place for special military operation participants in civilian life. The state isn't even considering bringing them back and helping them adapt to peaceful life.
all of these people
who have received various types of weapons, have gone through the experience of war, and who also have very serious and extensive criminal backgrounds. Something has to be done with these people.
Moreover, it's far from the best of the best who return from the war to civilian life. The new Putin military elite, as it's called, the bunker crowd, is made up entirely of pardoned convicts.
I would really like to look into the eyes of the person who made the decision to use prisoners in combat operations. Because this is actually, as you can see, a time bomb.
And it will explode inside Russia itself. And
maybe they're just idiots, that's also possible. A significant portion of our contingent at this point already consists of individuals who, while either currently serving time in correctional facilities or under active investigation by the authorities, sign a contract with the Ministry of Defense. By doing so, they either escape punishment from the court or they get out of camps, out of prisons, and gain the opportunity. As they say, they are told to atone for their guilt with blood, but in reality, they get a chance to be free for a while and possibly, if things go well, to later walk free, fully pardoned, maybe even with awards and so on and so forth.
The solution that the Kremlin has found is both brilliant and cruel at the same time. There are rumors that Putin simply gave the order not to let anyone return alive from the front. The Russian authorities want to send the most compliant convicts to Africa. As for the rest, following the good old Wagner PMC tradition, they are to be disposed of.
The first option is to send them somewhere in Africa. The second option is that overall they will be, how should I put it, dealt with more gently. The story with the sledgehammer.
At the same time, it should be noted that such a proposal, which is increasingly voiced by Kremlin propagandists, seems to have received tacit approval from the Russian population.
Because this is Russian Nazism. They get a thrill from death. That's the only thing that truly excites them.
A full-scale campaign against Russian contract soldiers returning from the special military operation has been launched on federal channels as well. There, around the clock, 24/7, they keep persuading people to sign a contract with the Ministry of Defense. But when it comes to the death rate at the front, the Kremlin has told them to keep quiet. So Russian propagandists cut out part of Putin's conversation with an 11-year-old girl from the broadcast in which she asked the president to bring her uncle back from the war.
And what would you like me to say? What would you like me to...
give you as a gift. Well, my uncle is at the front right now. He was wounded in the arm. He was in the hospital. They aren't treating him at all. And now they're sending him on a mission. And I would like him to be transferred to a good hospital in Russia. I hope so.
Russian propaganda has received the go-ahead. The Kremlin's mouthpiece has been tasked with turning on their own military.
Go quietly and pretend you're not being beaten.
It seems Putin has grown bored of playing war with his old toy soldiers. So the bunker dweller gave the order to get rid of them.
Weakness is truly and completely unacceptable because it creates temptation, and the illusion that some issue with us can be resolved.
Endless video appeals from grief-stricken Russian mothers, in despair, trying to find their children who went missing at the front, pleading for help. Maimed and abandoned contract soldiers left without medicine or medical care, and complaints from mobilized troops about the unbearable conditions of service in the Russian army, it seems, have really gotten on Vladimir Vladimirovich's nerves. But instead of solving the problem, the bunker dweller chose simply to ignore it and gave Russian propagandists the directive to stop any discussion about the troubles in the Russian army.
There's simply no need. There's no need, and it's just absurd.
Putin only needs soldiers on the battlefield. Outside of it, all these people become a threat to the Kremlin. Unprincipled and well-trained in handling weapons, they could cause the regime extra problems.
Here's what I want to say. The workers in the swamps consistently and diligently record everything carefully and clearly and hide nothing. An order will only be given in the most extreme case. To bring them back home, only in the most extreme case. And even then, only if... In other words, the order is to scatter them wherever possible in any available place.
Those who refuse to be scattered will simply be eliminated.
How do you assess the scale of the catastrophe Russia has found itself in? Share your opinion in the comments, like the video, and stay with us. We already have 480,000 subscribers, and the number keeps growing. See you soon.